Sweet.
There were a couple corrections from the original final, so.
Welcome inside Canada Life Center. I'm Joey Slattery, live courtside after the Sea Bears lose another tight game. Tough one for the Bears tonight. There are times where they had it, a lot of times where they didn't have it. I know I've already heard people talking about the referees and the struggle with that. I will say it went both ways, and that is not an excuse. It never is. Both teams had to play through some sloggy type of plays here and there, but nonetheless, it's not a good situation for the Sea Bears. Things were rolling really well. That start of the Xavier Moon, Teddy Allen era was off to a rocking start, and I think the expectations and the hopes were sky high. Now it's a bit of a reality check. This is a better team, I will say, the Honey Badgers, than the team that they lost to in Vancouver. And what I mean by that is this is the full team for the Honey Badgers. That is a desperate team. This is a team that is fighting for their playoff lives. Unlike the East, we have to remember, as much as people are going to be hitting the panic button right now, and I understand the playoffs are around the corner. You don't want to see your team having these types of performances this close to, but they have their playoff spot. The Sea Bears have time to figure this out in the sense that they have 3 games left, and 2 games left now, right? Yeah, no, it's the Ottawa and then at Vancouver, the last one on the road. And we also are understanding now that home court isn't a guaranteed win. It felt like it for a very long time, but they've lost 3 times now at Canada Life Center. And this was a team, the Brampton Honey Badgers, that has been struggling to find wins. This is a massive, massive win for the Honey Badgers, who were in second, despite the fact that they had a losing record. I'm not sure if the standings are updated yet. Probably not. No, they're not. But they are they are 11-11, so they're back to 500, and they are in second place. Are they updated? Oh, they are. Sorry, 10-11. So they're still a losing record. Thanks. That guy Ty comes in the clutch. I love it. So they are updated here. I'll just share the screen so everybody can see how this is all shaping up here now. But I mean, they were. It's kind of insane that they're in second place, to be totally honest. Just the way the season has been going for these guys. But it is what it is, and this is the CEBL. As I've said before, you can't get too high on the wins or too low on the losses. I think if you're Winnipeg right now, you're allowed to feel a little bit of pressure here. Big game tonight, Vancouver and Saskatoon playing in Vancouver. That'll start at 9 o'clock Central Time, or is it 8 o'clock Central Time? 8 o'clock Central Time. So it's a weird one here, because if you're the Sea Bears, if Sask wins, or Sask loses rather, they guarantee to get that home game, but it's not going to look good catching Vancouver for that top seed overall. Now, I'm curious if you're in the comments. I mean, obviously you want to be here for the game if they were to play a home game, but do you think home court is as big of an advantage today as you might have a few days ago? They were what, 2? What's that? They've lost 2 of the last 3 at home, right? So they've lost 2 of the last 3 at home. It's not a powerhouse as it has been. Again, that Montreal game, and Mike Rainbow said this when I was talking to him before the game, that Montreal game was probably a bigger deal to fans and media than it was for the team. I don't think emotions were super high after that win, other than the fact that they were happy for Teddy to get 54. It was nice to see Xavier Moon have a double-double. Xavier Moon played phenomenal here tonight, too. I'm going to pull up the next slide here. But Moon had 29 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. But Sean East stole the show, man. Sean East is a guy, he missed 7 games this year. It's a totally different dynamic when he's on the floor. He's a great scorer. We all know that. He's got shades of Teddy Buckets at times. But he's also a good facilitator, and he brings the confidence up on this team. I feel like anytime I do a national game, he's setting some sort of record. With those 38 points, that's a franchise record for the Honey Badgers, and they needed it. I mean, 88 points, he got 38 of them, and they needed every one because it was a 2-point win for the Honey Badgers. But I will say, the Sea Bears made it close. They fought their butts off in target score time. There was a long time where I want to say they were 3 points away, Brampton was, from the target, and Winnipeg still was 9 points away from it. So it looked like a few times it was going to be over, but Brampton was missing layups. They were missing open shots. And, head coach Alex Serta for the Brampton Honey Badgers was telling them, you got to hit your effing layups. Like, it is target score time. Stick to the fundamentals. But you do have to credit the Sea Bears for fighting out in target time to try and win. But it's tough when Teddy Allen is sitting pretty much the entire second half, right? He picked up that technical. He had 4 fouls against him, and he really couldn't play most of the game. And Arash Madani did a great job, and Javon Shepard, in highlighting that on the broadcast. When you're playing with 4 fouls, your hands are tied. There's not much Teddy Allen was able to do, right? And Sean East took full advantage, and that's what elite players do in this league. Listen, Sean East is a fringe NBA player, right? Alex sort of going as far as saying he could be a depth guard in the NBA. He's played in the Rising Stars game in NBA for the NBA All-Star Weekend, and he recognized the situation and he attacked it. And, that was the downfall for the Sea Bears. Xavier Moon played his best game as a Sea Bear. I think that's the one thing for me. It's nice to see him. As the game went on, he got real comfortable. It wasn't a great start, and he still had 29 points, 5 boards, and 6 assists. But he's a guy, when Teddy Allen was not able to find wasn't able to play, not even score, not even able to play, Moon stepped up, and this is the benefit of having them, right? And having the duo that they have, 2 guys that can score, that can find their shots. It just wasn't enough tonight. Now they got to go into, or they have a home game against Ottawa, and who knows what the situation will be come Friday. Or is it Thursday or Friday, that game?
Friday.
It is Friday. So the Friday game, who knows what the situation is. But you're probably going to get a team as desperate as Brampton was tonight, and Ottawa has been playing phenomenal. Unlike Brampton, is really trying to scratch and claw for any rhythm right now. They've found it, Ottawa, and Ottawa is probably the scariest team in the East right now. We talk about Calgary in the West. If they're able to creep up, they've got 2 big games coming up with Edmonton that can make or break this season. They're a loss away from being eliminated as they were last game, and they were still able to win, right? So if they can take care of business against Edmonton, they might actually find themselves in a playoff spot, which would be wild considering they started 0-10. But on the other side, Ottawa is the team that, to me, has been most impressive here. And, here we go. What? 25?
No, 2.
2. I was like, there's no way. Got league sources beside me here. 2 straight losses to Scarborough and Montreal. So there's the desperation's going to pick up because they have been playing some of the best basketball here in the East. Where was I now? I know we had a comment here. Sung Nation. Oh, we got coaches getting in on the comments. I love it. Why did Perry do so bad? Wasn't ready for the CBL. Too bad for listen, this has been a thing across the league, right? You talk to anybody, there's some inconsistencies. Refs are regional. It's a tough way to lose. I understand. And especially when you're losing on foul shots, it's not what you want to see, but it is the reality of the CEBL, right? And the target score period. And credit to Sean East. I got to give Sean East credit. He had a ton of points, and he had to hit 3 straight foul shots in, Canada Life Center. That's about as loud as you would expect in target score time. And he stayed dialed in to hit all those 3 shots for the win. Again, this was a bigger game for Brampton, right? If they lost this game, it's complete chaos for the Honey Badgers and what they would have to do to get into the playoffs. For the Sea Bears, again, they need a little help, and it's a weird one tonight because you clinch that home game with Saskatoon if they win, but you're probably not going to get it in the conference final. Vancouver loses tonight, different story, but you still have to win those next 2 games. And, they have 1 home game left, 1 away game, but they've lost the last 2 at home. And yes, you can get, a little bit worried about that. And I think that Vancouver one was still worse, but they weren't able to follow it up with the win today, even though they came close. East scored 5 of the first 6 Brampton target points after Moon tied the game. Moon scored the next 7 before East got it. Yeah, it was a showdown. And I think that's the worst part about the call in terms of just the entertainment value, right? Like, you just want to see them win it. They were going head to head. It was Teddy Allen on Sean East, Teddy playing with 4 fouls. And it was the foul that ends up deciding the game through the foul shots. But man, in terms of an entertainment value, the Stars came out to play, right? Was it 29 points for Teddy, 28 points for Moon, You got 38 points from Sean East, and even Roddy Peters Jr. had 22 points and really carried the load while, Sean East was getting going. Moon and East combined for 17 of the 18 points scored in target score time. Like, again, entertainment values there. And I know for Sea Bears fans, that's nothing for you. It's not going to make things any easier that you lost, but I'm going to say from an entertainment standpoint, it was popcorn tonight. Unfortunate foul, but one of those leg out fouls when Teddy was trying to catch up, and that's fair. And Teddy had already had 4 fouls on him too, right? So, not getting any help from the refs on that one. I'm going to pull up the highlights here as I'm talking. This will be a short show. The Brampton boys are too busy partying, so I wanted them to come on the podcast, but they're like, nah, got to go party. Apparently, Brampton's popping off right now. So, if you're out in Brampton watching this, congratulations on your win. Stay safe out there as the city erupts in celebration. But this is a game that the Sea Bears now have to sit with for a while. They don't play till Friday, so they've got a week to sit with this game, and that's not going to be easy. I know the nice thing about that is you've got a week to look at the tape, not only of this game, but the Vancouver game. One of the things that, I want to bring up the stats here because, they pulled down 45 rebounds, which is 2 better than Brampton, but that has been another area of emphasis for the Sea Bears. And as the game goes on, they tend to get worse. Like, that's the thing about the Sea Bears. They had 27 defensive rebounds, 18 on the offensive side, only gave up 10 rebounds on the offensive side, which is big. But, Jeremiah Tillman Jr. put it great. We talked about it yesterday. You probably saw it in Josh Frey-Sam's story on the Free Press. This is a team that can ball watch at times, right? Particularly with the guards. And that could be a product of a few different things. They like to get out in transition. So at the defensive end, that could be a problem, right? They're kind of waiting for the long rebound or getting out on the run. But they're a smaller team. It needs to be by committee. Jeremiah Tillman Jr. is an elite basketball player. He's an elite center in this league. He does a lot for this team. Today, though, he only had 2 rebounds and he fought for like every rebound. Like, that was the other thing. Like, Brampton had the bigs. They were able to put pressure on him. And this is what happens when you only have one guy to target. We talk about Teddy and targeting him on defense, right? And targeting Moon on defense. But when it comes to rebounding, Jeremiah Tillman Jr. is the one guy they don't want near the rim. And the teams have been doing a better job at that. So I think, you want to see the guards get better at crashing those boards and giving some support to guys like Jeremiah Tillman Jr. Another tough game for Isaiah Osborne. I think was at 14. I just want to make sure here. He was 0 for 5 from 3. I think he's at 14 straight misses dating back like the last few games. He was only 2 for 9 altogether, right? So 4 points for him. 4 points for DJ Burns, 4 for Jeremiah Tillman Jr., only 2 Sea Bears in double digits, and that was 29 from Teddy and 28 from Xavier Moon. Not much different for the Brampton Honey Badgers. 38 from Sean East, 22 from Roddy Peters Jr. You've got 3s from Izzy, Ambrose Hilton, and Minor, who recently joined the team. Tevian Jones had 7. I thought Tevian Jones was going to go off for a while. He had the first 5 points of the game for Brampton. And I thought this might be a Tevian Jones redemption game. I wouldn't say redemption. I would say revenge, but not even that. But, he's a guy that's fired up. And he looks like he's found a good spot here with Brampton in terms of, the way he's carrying himself, understanding the role that he's playing here. Brampton could be a dangerous team in the playoffs. If I'm a CBL fan, as I am, of course, I'm looking forward to the West. It's hard to say it's a 2-horse race right now. It's still Vancouver and Winnipeg at the top spots. We'll see how Saskatoon ends out the year. But those 3 teams are in. It's a battle between the Alberta teams for that last spot. In the East, yes, Scarborough's running away with it, but the teams that are fighting for their playoff lives are going to be in a rhythm, right? For that first playoff game for Scarborough was going to feel like the 4th or 5th for whoever team they play in that first playoff game. So I'm looking forward to that East matchup. And right now, we'll see how it happens because they have some time off now too. Brampton goes home and then they play Montreal, which will be massive because Montreal's right in the thick of that race. But if they can carry the momentum from this game, like you felt it. You felt this win mean a lot to the Brampton Honey Badgers, particularly because it was here. I talked to Alex Serta before the game and, he was saying how special it is to play here and the environment, the atmosphere. And this is before anything got going. So they know how big this is with the loud crowd, getting that crowd silent. There's probably no better feeling as an athlete. It's great to be cheered, but when you can silence a crowd, and they had a few of those today. So we'll see how they go on. What is that guy, Ty? have to say here. Matt Bonomi's starting to fall back down the list of target score personalities, putting Bonomi on blast for blatantly ignoring to come on the post-game show. Too good now that they've won a game here in Winnipeg. He's too good for this podcast now, it seems like. So if you guys want, what is his handle? At Matt Bonomi, probably 33. At Matt Bonomi 33 on Instagram. Pretty sure it's an open profile. Flood his DMs. Let him know that you're disappointed. He was pandering to all you Seabears fans, and now he's not here, right? What good is that? And who knows? This could be a tough one if Vancouver wins as well. So then you guys all have to deal with the Chris Wiggins and Bonomis of the world. Denung Balsera also getting pretty lippy on our group chat. So everybody's feeling good except for Seabears fans. But again, guys, this has been the season for the Seabears. This has been a season that they've been up and down. If you remember, they were 4-4 to start the season, right? All this adversity, you'd rather be facing it now. Mike Rainbow put it best after the game against Vancouver. They're trying to treat all of these games left as preparation for the playoffs. If this were a playoff game, they'd be cleaning out their lockers tomorrow, right? So the message is being sent. I know you're trying to fabricate that feeling, but it takes some time before you can actually, it doesn't just because you want it to treat that way. It doesn't just set in. Like when the playoffs come, I think there will be a next gear. The problem is this team has not played well in the playoffs from a historical standpoint. They've not won a single game. If it's Edmonton that comes in here, Edmonton has been a team that has had a lot of success, particularly in the playoffs in this building. I know it's been a really one-handed series, dating back to last year with the Seabears sweeping the season series this year. But again, nothing matters. Just like these last two games do not matter once the playoffs start, right? What matters right now is going to the tape, seeing where things went wrong, and correcting it. Brampton was phenomenal in transition. And that's the one thing we saw with Vancouver too, right? Shamar Givens was another guy who led the charge for Vancouver a game ago and got them on the run. And this is where Winnipeg makes their bread and butter out of, is getting out in transition. And they've not been doing it these last two games, right? They've been finding themselves in a lot more half-court sets. Moon, doing a lot of the ball handling. There's times where it seems like he's finding his spot. He's getting to the paint or getting to the elbow, and where he needs guys to be, they're not there. And this is kind of what I was concerned about when he was coming in. It's less about Moon, and you can tell he's working off some rust, and he really worked it off in the second half here. I think he's good to go now, and I anticipate that from here on in, you're going to get Moon at his best. He's also a competitor. He's a guy that's played in this league, and I don't think he's ever played in a year that he didn't win a championship. All would have been the 1 year because he had the 3 MVPs, but the last 2 years he played in this league, he's won championships. He's not going to be happy with this. You have Jeremiah Tillman Jr., who's a champion, right? So these guys have to step up as leaders as well, like when we're not around and in the room, and I'm sure they're doing this, but the team has to hear the message and then put it into action. This is a team that, and I'm not saying this about Winnipeg fans, although Winnipeg fans were excited for sure. This is a team that a lot of people around the league were ready to crown as, the team to beat in the West for sure. Everybody was talking about Scarborough, Winnipeg. That's going to be quelled. There's not going to be a lot of talk right now about that. I think Vancouver tonight, we'll see if they're going to take over that spot as they were at the start of the season. But this has been the roller coaster. It's Vancouver. It's Winnipeg. Back to Vancouver. Maybe Winnipeg, right? Moon's back. This is going to be a hard team to beat. They're fun to watch. And they are fun to watch when things are going. But I don't know. After that Montreal game, maybe it's because there's tape out there. But teams have seemed prepared to at least live with the consequence. Today, they didn't let him, but Teddy Allen got his shots up in the first quarter or first half. He had 20 points. He ended with 29. Didn't help that he was in foul trouble. And then Moon got his shots, but that was it, right? So now it's kind of, well, if we can just outscore them at the other end, we're happy if they're getting 25 to 30 points each, and that's all they're getting, right? And that's been the MO for these particularly this game. But they have to be better in transition defense. Their transition offense has been great. Their transition defense in the last two games particularly has not been great. That might be miscommunication. I think part of that comes out with the rebounding and the focus on that. You need to have the possessions, but tough slog for the Bears right now. Scarborough also has the same schedule versus Montreal at home, then a home and home with Scarborough. So yeah, as we mentioned, Ottawa lost those two games to Scarborough and Montreal. Now Brampton's going against some teams that are two things: desperate in Montreal and Scarborough, who's going to have those last two games to tune up for the playoffs. Again, Scarborough, a team that hasn't really had much adversity. They've lost a few games recently, but it's nothing, doesn't feel as heavy as the losses here feel in Winnipeg right now because it doesn't affect their standings. So going to be a tough one here. I'm just going to go over some of the stats before we wrap up. Sorry, it is going to be a quick show. I got places to be. I'm sorry. And we're going to have the more programming throughout the week here as we move forward. But, looking at the turnovers, Winnipeg had 12, 15 turnovers for Brampton, 16 assists for both teams. Not the cleanest of games when it comes from the turnover standpoint. The defenses were playing hard. And that's what I'll say too. These teams were playing hard. This isn't, I don't think this was Winnipeg being lazy or taking things too lightly. I don't think it was any of that. It's just Brampton was ready to play. They shut them down. Again, Winnipeg was a team averaging 100 points a game. And they got to 86 today, and that was on a late run in target score time. Like there was a moment where it looked like they might not crack 80. So the scoring has gone down. They're allowing more points now than they have all year. And again, this is where we're starting to get that playoff feel. They are playing desperate teams going down the stretch here. Winnipeg was 38% from the field. They went 30 for 78, 9 for 33 from the three-point line, less than 30% there. And then the free throw, 17 for 23. Brampton, on the other hand, 46% from the field, a lot more efficient, taking less shots. They had 29 for 63 from the three-point line. Not much better. They only hit 4. They only shot 12, so that's 33%. But they were money from the free throw line, 12 for 13. That's a 92% clip. Winnipeg led by as much as 9, right? Another blown lead game for them. When it comes to point per possession, pretty even. 1.08 for Brampton, 1.04 for Winnipeg. There were 17 lead changes in this one. That's the other thing. There was no team that was running away with this. Winnipeg last game had 1 lead change in that game, and it was at the worst possible time. This one had 17. It was tied 12 times. But again, Brampton, 17 points in the fast break. We don't see that number often with the Sea Bears in terms of giving up. Winnipeg had 12 of their own. Second chance points, Winnipeg 10 there, 10 to Brampton 6. And the bench were equally as productive. Again, it came down to 4 players, right? It was Sean East, Roddy Peters for Brampton, Xavier Moon, and Teddy Allen for Winnipeg. There needs to be more depth. And that's for both teams. I know Brampton's happy walking away with this win. But they're going to have some things to look at the tape, too. They didn't play a clean game all the way through, but their transition was stellar tonight. And, they were able to find a way to win, which they have not done. And at the end of the day, that's all you really need to take away from this game if you're Brampton. You won. It's been a struggle to find these games. They've blown leads in target time. I mean, they lost one to Saskatoon where they had the lead going in. So, this is a team that was probably sweating, particularly when they went ahead, when Moon hit the shot to go ahead. So, they came in here, they got to win in a very hostile environment. But I've said this in the past, this is a place where the teams tend to bring their best, right? So this is going to be the test for Brampton. Now you're going back to Brampton where it's not going to be this intense. It's not the same in Brampton. You all know that. You watch it on TV. You've seen it. So this is that's going to be a big one. Stat guy tie with another one here. Brampton went into target, scoring 12 straight before a Sea Bears free throw. 76-67 turns into 77-79. Thanks for that, Ty. Largest lead of the game turns into a deficit. Yeah, no, it's this is the thing. Winnipeg, it doesn't matter if you're home or away, you just have to win now. And now that home advantage isn't guaranteed as it felt like it might have been before. So regardless of what the situation is, I mean, I think we're all pretty confident by the end of it, they will have that first quarterfinal game, or I should say conference semifinal game here. But after that, you might have to play in Vancouver. You might have to play in Saskatoon. We have no idea. Like, that's the thing. Right now with Saskatoon, this game is so big tonight. If you are home tonight, I just urge you to watch that game because I think those two teams, like for sure, one of those two teams are going to be on the road to the playoffs. Who knows when they're going to play them. But this is going to be a telling sign to see just how real Saskatoon is because they are starting to heat up at a good time. They've clinched. They look confident. That 0-4 Saskatoon team is not the same. Isaiah Fox, the head coach, has them buzzing right now. They have their confidence up. And this is a team that looks like they are getting ready for the playoffs. Like they're peaking at a good time. Vancouver, same deal. I mean, with Vancouver, I said it last time, the way they beat Winnipeg, you have to think that Oh, Saskatoon's winners of 3 straight. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate you. But yeah, like Saskatoon is a team that is streaking right now at a good time. Vancouver is now they're on the road in Vancouver. Vancouver's going to be feeling good. Their fans are going to get excited because they want to get 2 playoff games too, man. Vancouver is a diehard fan base, much like the fan base here in Winnipeg. They want those games. They go to the games. They're watching this, and I guarantee you there are viewers from Vancouver watching this one that are very excited after seeing Brampton do them a huge solid as they have to go take care of business tonight against Saskatoon. But, who knows? Saskatoon might be hosting the game at this point. It's going to be it's a tough slog, and the tough part about this one is I think this is the game where you'd almost want the quick turnaround. I think that could have been the benefit for the Sea Bears with that Vancouver game. You can't dwell on it too much. You just got to get back to the floor. They get rest. They need rest. They look tired today. There were some plays where they looked out of gas, where Tillman looked like he might have been out of gas. They played a lot of games recently in a short amount of time. Now they've got a week before Ottawa. And again, it's not a conference game. It's not a game that's going to have any direct in terms of matchup with them implications, but it might have a very important situation in terms of where they're going to end up in the playoffs. They will be in the playoffs. That's a guarantee. That's all we know. So it's going to be interesting to watch the rest. Stat guy tie here before we wrap up. 1 and 2 won't be set before Friday versus Ottawa, but Ottawa could be the determining game. Fair point. And if not, then you've got Vancouver too, right? I mean, if they have to go to Vancouver and win a game, which honestly at this point they might enjoy being on the road and just get a fresh perspective here, because as much as they've been playing well here, I think when you lose at home, it weighs a little bit more on this team. They got to hear it. They got to see it. And it's not like the fans were booing or anything. We're not at that point by any stretch, but you can sense the energy. It was a nervous energy in this building. And if you were here, I know a lot of people are probably just getting home from the game. If you were here for that game, you probably felt that nervous energy. I felt it, from the floor. It could have been a big chance for that come from behind win, but it's lost. So now it's on to Ottawa. And then that game in Vancouver is going to be big regardless of what's set in place, because you got to set a tone. And, if you tie that season series, it does wonders depending on how the next game goes. The next couple of games go for Vancouver, but at the end of the day, you just need to. It'd be nice to come out with those wins. I think you really need that win on August 2nd against Vancouver. Want to say thanks for everybody for tuning into this one. If you're catching it on replay, appreciate you. For those that tune in live, thanks for coming in. Thanks for getting in on the comments. We will have our regular target score programming this week. I just got to check in with Taylor, see what day. Probably be Wednesday. That's what we're aiming for, but we'll have to wait and see with that and who the guest is. So have your socials on, like and subscribe here. Make sure that you have your notifications on YouTube in case we have an impromptu live. You just never know what'll happen. And I know this point of the year, there's probably going to be a lot of Winnipeg fans that are going to be tuning into the Vancouver show and vice versa. So for those watching from Vancouver, thanks for tuning in. Probably going to have a few crossovers here moving forward because Vancouver, Winnipeg neck and neck, but it's looking good for Vancouver right now as of being live at 6:04 Central Time. With the Bandits about to play the Saskatoon Mamba. I'm sure you'll all be watching there. I'll be watching. You can follow me at Joey Slattery TV, and love talking Sea Bear, CBL, whatever you got. Need to vent some stuff, come at us. At Target Score Pod is the Target Score Instagram handle, and we will keep you posted with any live shows coming up or recorded shows. And of course, we will have Game Day Live, regular scheduled programming. It's a Friday night game. We'll have Target Score, Game Day Live before that Ottawa game and the post game as per usual. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I know it's a hot one out there, so if you're by a lake, go cool off, and you probably need to cool off after what you witnessed here today. Not an easy loss for the Sea Bears. Again, not all bad, but the worst part is you just didn't get the win, and they got to figure out how to sneak these wins out. So can they do it? I'm sure they will. Rather get these losses out now as opposed to August, because as we said, this were a playoff game, they'd be cleaning their lockers tomorrow. A lot to work with, and don't hit the panic button yet. 2 more games to figure things out. All will be forgiven if they go on a playoff run and can get to those finals, but let's not count our eggs before they get there. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your night. It was good hanging out with you all, and we will see you all soon.